If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. We do not drink enough fortified wines. In fact, we do not pay enough attention to fortified wines. Hi everybody, this is Agnes from No Sediment, and today we're going to talk about Tawny port wines. If you want to know a little bit more about port wines in general, make sure to watch my other video on the introduction to port wines. I mentioned there that port wines can be grouped into two large categories, Ruby and Tawny. And as simple as that sounds, they are named after the appearance of these wines. Ruby port usually being deep ruby in color, and Tawny port usually being a light brown or even orange. For most of the time, this difference is due to aging. Tawny ports are aged for a long time in oak barrels, usually 600 to 640 liters in size, during which the wine becomes lighter in color, adding nutty, toasty and caramel-like flavors both on the nose and palate. And they are meant to be enjoyed once they're bottled, meaning Tawny ports will not develop further with you aging them in your cellar. Tawny ports can be divided into different subcategories, so let's dive into them. If the label simply states Tawny port, we could call this the entry level of Tawny ports. Not all ports under this category will be aged enough for them to lose the color and acquire nutty flavors. Some might be made to simply meet the category needs. Therefore, adding white port wine or simply extracting less color from the grapes may do the trick. However, some port wine fans will argue that true Tawny only starts at the Tawny Reserve level. Tawny Reserve must be aged at least 7 years in the oak barrels. These wines will still show some fresh, dark fruit flavors, yet they will be coated in notes of toasted nuts and complemented by dried berries. Tawny ports with age indication will have age stated on their labels, such as 10, 20, 30, and 40-year-old Tawny port. But what's interesting, this number is not necessarily the average age of the wines blended, but rather the style it represents. For example, 10 years old Tawny port should be more developed than Tawny Reserve and bear the characteristics of port aged for 10 years. This, of course, leaves a lot of variability. With age increasing, the wines also should show increased levels of concentration, complexity, and intensity of the oxidative flavors, such as dried fruit, walnuts, sweet spices, chocolate, and caramel. 30-year and 40-year-old Tawny ports are expensive, rare, but they are also great examples of what port can really be. They are sweet, of course, yet they leave refreshed and almost drying aftertaste. And alcohol has married within the fruity and toasty flavors, leaving much more balanced and integrated character. Colheita is vintage indicated Tawny port. These ports will be made from a single vintage and must be aged minimum of 7 years. But most producers will age them for so much longer, and some will bottle only on demand. And because the winemaking varies amongst the producers, these wines can be quite different from each other in color, aging, flavor complexity, and also quality. Despite the fact that Tawny ports have around the same alcohol level as Ruby ports, they somehow feel lighter, and it definitely offers freshness, therefore they can be chilled and served as an aperitif. I also think Tawny ports are way more versatile with food than Ruby ports and can be enjoyed throughout the meal. For example, choosing aged Tawny port for your duck confit and Tawny Reserve for your medium-cooked duck breast. And do not fear for those sweet, fruity sauces often served with duck. Tawny ports should deal with them perfectly. And Tawny ports will be still great with cheeses and variety of sweets. There are a lot of great producers of port wine, And some of my favorite ones are Quinta do Noval, Kopke, Graham's, Fonseca, and Dose. But there are many more excellent producers, so the next time someone offers you a glass of port wine, just say yes. As I said at the beginning, we do not pay enough attention to those beautiful fortified wines, yet there are many reasons why we should. So I made a video about it. Cheers!